My desk is a mess. Hey, everybody, what's going on? Happy Friday. It's Midnight's Edge After Dark. Woohoo!
But it's
I am your narrator supreme, the master mofo, Mr. Rob Robot Shlomo, coming through Shabby Road Studios. With me, as always, Mr. Tom Connors.
Ooh, he loves non-homo.
Non-homo. I say.
It rhymes with Shlomo.
You promise to keep that just between us, Tom?
Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah.
So, and with us as always is your favorite YouTube harpy, the Ninja Warrior Viking Princess.
Don't slap a person silly, apparently.
Yes. Your favorite ninja, like I said, your favorite ninja warrior Viking, scarlet-haired temptress, the award-winning chef, and soon to be the number one pick in the WNBA draft, Miss Mecca Random.
I thought you were going to say something else. Randomonium. Oh, I like that.
What, the skid come to a halt?
Randomonium, 16-bit mascot. I like that.
It's Miss Randomonium 16.
Courageous Jedi Knight. I can be a Jedi Knight, apparently.
Yeah, sure you can. Absolutely. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for sticking around. It's like I said, it's happy hour. Is it a happy hour? It's not happy hour. It's happy hour somewhere.
Will be soon. You're tipping into your scotch tonight.
No, possibly. Anytime you're drinking, it's happy hour. Should be. So anyway, let's get down to the news. So
I'm listening.
That's right. So Tom, what's in the news today? It's other than it's Friday.
I don't know. You tell me.
Oh. Well, okay. First of all, let's start. There's Spider-Man related news. There's a couple different Spider-Man related.
We can do that.
Yeah, we can just talk because there really is no groundbreaking lead story. So let's Spider-Man.
The Andy Serkis one, yeah, Spider-Man kind of.
Oh yeah, we're gonna cover that. So Andy Serkis, the guy you know as Gollum, the guy you know as actually no, you didn't know him as Gollum because that was CGI, but he's the voice of Gollum. He was Ulysses. He was what?
The AP.
Oh yeah, he played Caesar.
The AP Kitty.
AP Kitty. You refer to everything as Kitty.
Yes.
Okay.
He was Snoke.
Oh yes, he was Snoke. And I can imagine after reading that script, he goes, "Oh, so this I went out like a punk bitch, didn't I?" So.
Yeah, he said that all the way.
So anyway, all the way to the bank, yeah. So, but anyway, Andy Serkis is apparently in the running to direct Venom 2. Also, is in the running is the guy who directed Bumblebee. I didn't see Bumblebee. Did you see Bumblebee?
I did.
Mecca, you saw Bumblebee? How was it?
It was all right. It was cute enough. I mean, it was kind of like an 80s movie with CG Transformers. It wasn't bad. You know, it had like actually, you'd probably like it. It had kind of a cool kind of young punk rock chick that ends up befriending Bumblebee. It was very 80s.
As it should be.
Yeah, you probably recognize a lot of the music in there.
So, okay. Or let's take this. Hollywood Reporter. With Spider-Man Far From Home crossing the $1 billion worldwide box office milestone, we'll get to that in a second, Sony is now looking to get the Venom sequel off the ground. Executives recently met with a handful of new directing candidates. Sources tell Variety that Andy Serkis, Bumblebee director Travis Knight, and Rupert Wyatt are among the directors meeting for the coveted job on the film that has Tom Hardy set to return in the title role of Eddie Brock. That wasn't Eddie Brock. That was Woody Allen playing Eddie Brock. Insiders say these are just meetings and no one has moved into a frontrunner position. Ruben Fleischer directed the first pick in 2018, but is not returning as he is in post-production on Zombieland Double Tap. Sony hopes to shoot the film in the fall. Venom from Sony Pictures' arsenal of Marvel characters grossed a massive $855 million worldwide. The news comes after the studio recently dated an untitled Marvel sequel for October 2020. Comic book enthusiasts put the pieces together to assume the slot was for Venom 2, giving it the same release date as its predecessor. The next film in this universe is Morbius, starring Jared Leto, which is dead on arrival, which is set to bow next summer. Kelly Marcel, who wrote the script for the sequel, Serkis previously directed Mowgli, The Legend of the Jungle, and Breathe. Wyatt directed Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and more recently, Captive State. The first Venom also starred Michelle Williams and featured a last-minute cameo by Woody Harrelson as Chief Venom villain Cletus Cassidy, a.k.a. Carnage. Sony had no comment. Boo, yeah. Okay, I don't know. I don't want another Venom movie because, like I said, it just gives Sony the impetus to. Well, I know we did the whole thing about that, but I don't. Listen, one Spider-Man, one Venom. That's it. You know, one Spider-Man. I like kind of everything in a nice, tidy kind of thing. You know.
You like tidy whities.
Tom. Yes, that's right.
I didn't.
But as we all know,
Venom. To be honest with you, I actually kind of liked it. It was all right. My only issue was just the stuff that they did to just disconnect it from Spider-Man, basically. I mean, and then when you see the movie, it feels very cut. You can tell it was made as an R-rated movie and they cut it down, despite what they say. And isn't it funny that Amy Pascal is just going around saying, "Oh, we're not worried about Venom 2 or when it comes out." You like my new Amy?
I'm sure they're not. Yeah, a lot less smokier.
I think it's just confusing to like the normies.
That's because she talks like she's on crack, not smoking cigarettes. Mm-hmm. You don't come up with this shit after.
We had we actually have a comment from we have exclusive comment from Kevin Feige about the news that they're going to be shooting Venom 2, and this is what he had to say.
They're inside you building a monument to compromise.
Oh, harsh words from Kevin Feige. Well, anyway.
I was waiting for what don't you fucking understand?
Well, maybe okay. We have further comment.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, you need to do the one where we're done. We're done professionally.
Okay, I'll have to isolate that one. But I don't. Okay, Venom is I'm not that big of a fan of Venom. He's just literalizing of the whole, anti-hero kind of trope, the realization of the Peter Parker is a badass. What if Peter Parker was evil?
That basically, if
people like that,
if McFarlane made a badass Spider-Man, and it
pretty much
bit people's heads off. That's pretty much what.
Pretty much, yeah. It's for Spider-Man who people want people want him to be the Punisher.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I remember Venom was this huge thing in the 90s, and that was the same time when all these dark anti-heroes and villains kind of came about, where you had Wolverine started getting big. I know he was way before that, but I mean, you know what I mean. It was like all these darker characters were starting to become to the forefront. The Punisher was another one you just mentioned. You know, it was like I just remember all these characters being like the thing in the '90s where everybody was like,
Punisher, Spawn, yeah, I mean all
Yeah,
that stuff.
Spawn.
Yeah, Mecca. Any comment?
He looks too shiny. I don't think I like Venom that much. That's why I didn't want to see him. He just looks like a shiny CG blob. I don't know. I just have that aversion to CG. I wasn't that interested in Venom that much either. Like, he's all right. He just reminds me of like the worst Spider-Man movie that I saw. And I know there's worse ones, but I didn't see.
I was gonna say, to be fair, that was a real shitty representation of
Yeah, I know.
You got a lot of the things right in this movie. Okay, like the tone is pretty much right. The humor, the dark humor is kind of there. The symbiote action, where like you got Tom Hardy playing off of the symbiote. That stuff is where. Did I say it right? Or somebody gonna yell at me? Symbiote. I don't know.
Symbiote.
I don't.
Well, close enough.
Oh shit. Well, I mean, Andy Serkis. My question is, if he directs, who's he going to play in the movie? Because he probably would have been a better choice for fucking Carnage than Woody Harrelson.
Mm.
I mean, I like Woody Harrelson. Don't get me wrong, but
oh yeah, my niece first saw Venom in the 2000 Spider-Man PS1 game, and she was really little at the time. She goes, she called him Vendom. Vendom is funny. He's got a big tongue. So she was like really little at the time. And then when she got a little older, he's creepy. I'm like, not really. Not any, That's the whole thing. Venom really isn't menacing to me. He's,
Yeah, he looks silly. He looks like a goofy Halloween mask.
It's the whole idea of Venom is you're supposed to have Spider-Man. It's supposed to be the black suit is supposed to be a performance enhancement in the metaphor. Like steroids or
Roid Rage.
Exactly, yeah. And you're not supposed to want Peter to be involved with it. You want him to get the black suit off of him. And Eddie Brock, who is all about rage and anger, it finds a natural home in Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock, who resents Peter Parker. And that's why him and the symbiote are such a good fit. But the whole thing is that he's supposed to have something to mirror him. That's the whole thing. That's the whole point of the Venom character. Is that he is the opposite. He's everything Spider-Man is the opposite of. And for me, without that mirror, it doesn't really work. Well, for me, at least, it doesn't work. It worked to the tune of $850 million, obviously.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you look past certain things in the movie, it works. Like, instead of it being the spider web thing, the symbiote just stretches out and shit. Like, they play more with the symbiote itself being more like why it looks all shiny is because he's constantly changing, kind of, well, not always, but kind of can change shapes and do whatever, with his arm, like he does in the comic. I mean, it's kind of a good representation of that part, but it's like, why would he look like that? He looks like that because he's looking like a bad version of Spider-Man. Okay, that you're not wrong. Like, there's a lot of logical steps you have to jump through in the movie to kind of get past the fact that they took Spider-Man out of this. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I like what Alpha J 3.0. Peter, don't do drugs, kids, or you'll be turned into a big black blob of rage. Southern Peanut, hold on. For Rob, actually, Venom only hates Spider-Man. Brock doesn't harm anyone else. Everything he does is to hurt Parker. They're coming to take me away, haha. But he won't harm innocents, including Aunt May.
Right. Well, I mean, I've never read a lot of comics, but I always understood that kind of about Brock. He's not a bad guy per se. He's just selfish, jealous, and these things kind of channel into the rage through Venom, I guess is a better way to put it.
Mecca, anything to say?
Nope. It's just Venom. I just don't care that much.
Yeah, those things are taken out of his character pretty much in this version and changed to neuroticness and insecurities and stuff like that.
He's kind of like Woody Allen. If Woody Allen was the alter ego of a superhero. Oh no, this is terrible. Maybe Venom wanted. Maybe they wanted to model Venom after Tom Hartman.
To be fair, he's not like that so much through the movie.
Why, Tom? Why couldn't they model a superhero after me? I'm heroic.
He's more like that in just like the scenes where he's just kind of figuring out what the hell's going on to him.
I wanted to be
not like that. So.
I told Amy, I said, I can be a superhero. I'm heroic. Look at this physique. Okay. This pale, pasty physique doesn't this scream heroic to you? I'm the model of courage.
But we don't want any more male superheroes. Right?
But I'm not a male. I'm a transgender.
You're neither of those things.
I identify.
I'll be Aunt May in the Aunt May movie before you ever Venom. Okay.
I identify as a basketball.
Shut up before I throw a fucking sandwich at you.
Oh, wow, no. She's mad now. She's mad. Oh, no. Why can't I fire her? Why? I was just able to. Yeah, you already did. Okay. All right. That's enough
like
of this.
Melvin, but yet, like, they literally put her out of the. Isn't that what they did? Where did I hear that? Where, like, her new office was like just an office like next door to Sony or something like that. Like, they got her out of Sony into her own offices. And she has no relation. Yeah, she's like no relation to Sony anymore, but she's dug in with her little claws because of certain things she has, her name attached to. It's so fucking funny how this works out. It's like they're getting so screwed by this bitch. Oh man. Anyway, speaking of Spider-Man and fucking Amy Pascal, whose name was all the fuck over Far From Home.
Oh yeah. Like bigger than Tom Holland's practically.
Right?
I think it might have been actually. Now that I think about it.
My name bigger than the title.
Like when Shatner used to demand his name be 10% bigger than everybody else's in the titles of the original series.
My name better be 10% bigger like my dick than everybody else. You hear that?
I'm gonna need some proof of that.
I'm a Shat. That's all the proof you need.
Anyway, so Spider-Man Far From Home crosses the $1 billion mark. First time for the franchise. Sony has gained entry to the $1 billion. Sony's gained entry to the $1 billion club only one other time with Skyfall. Sony and Marvel Studios' Spider-Man Far From Home has swung past the $1 billion mark at the worldwide box office, becoming the first installment in the franchise to do so, not adjusted for inflation. Further, it's only the second Sony movie to become a member of the $1 billion club, behind the 2012 James Bond entry Skyfall, made in partnership with MGM. And Sony becomes the first studio besides Disney to boast the milestone since Warner Brothers. Aquaman earned $1.14 billion following its December release. The summer tentpole accomplished the feat Thursday. Its domestic tally through the day is projected to be $333 million, while it has grossed $672 million overseas for a total of $1.005 billion. We should always note that they don't get to keep those receipts, though. The overseas box office?
Well, it's only a small percentage. Depends on the region, depends on the deal they have. Again, this is like all those people who are like, well, no. Like recently, Child's Play has been the one where everybody's like, well, no, how can it be a flop? It made all this money, blah, 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 blah. It only cost $10 million to make, and it made almost $20 million. It's like, yeah, but you don't think about the fact that a movie has to usually make about 3 times its budget to make its money back.
Marketing,
Yeah, and not only that, the theaters take their cut, and there's other people along the line who get cuts and points, to where by the time the company sees any of the money, this is why they always go around saying that the movies never make any money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And this is also why it's important to have a strong box office in the U.S., because that's really where they make their money.
Yeah, doesn't like overseas. Isn't there some sort of rule where overseas just kind of is going to pay back your production cost or something?
Oh, not even. If you're lucky. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like how do I put it? In most cases overseas, like in China, I've heard they're lucky to get 10-15% usually of what the intake is.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry, that was backwards probably.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, they make a lot of money there, but then there's probably some regions where they get 30-40% maybe. But again, whatever, it depends on what deals they're coming up with. And the reason I brought up Child's Play is that's a situation where they don't get anything overseas because they pre-sold that movie overseas. So they made their money back on the movie. But all the money overseas, if Child's Play is a huge hit over in, say, China or wherever, it ain't gonna matter to them. So the only thing it might do is give us another sequel. Hey, Mary's in the chat. Did you want to jump in the stream, Mary? I didn't know if you were busy or what's up. But yeah, so I mean, what this means though overall though is this kind of takes us back to a video we did a couple weeks back, right, Rob? About the whole deal with, I mean, we all kind of figured Spider-Man was probably going to break $1 billion, but
I mean,
the whole thing between Marvel and Sony.
if it crosses $1 billion, the word is if it crosses $1 billion, that we will get a third Marvel Sony produced Spider-Man movie.
See, now there has been some discrepancy. Now, a lot of the early reports claim that the third movie was not involved in the contract. There's some reports saying that it is. I'm not 100% sure anymore what the deal is, but we've been just continuing to report what we had been told originally. So, yeah, or what? Bye. There was 5 appearances by Tom Holland in the Marvel universe, and he had one more movie left over on contract with Sony. Don't everybody talk at once.
No, I kind of Rob, you didn't see Spider-Man yet, right? Far From Home.
No, I didn't. Everybody spoiled it for me. I'm like, oh, damn it.
I'm sorry. That's one of the problems with these movies is that like you have to kind of go see them the second they come out because you're going to be spoiled. You're going to be talking about it. It's like the movies now are kind of like your television, your must-see TV sort of, you make an appointment to go see the movie like the second it comes out.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're just going to be spoiled. This is what you talk about in the water cooler the next day. This isn't like, oh yeah, I'll go see it when it comes out of it, or I'll go see it like maybe next week sometime, or I'll go to the movies to see what's playing.
I don't have a review, but I do have my reaction to the film being spoiled. So
it wasn't really like that spoiler. I mean, I think you can probably tell where it's going just from the trailer, pretty much. But
yeah, but anyway, the whole gist of the story, and I really did want to see it though. I did and I didn't want to see it. Just like, they've had such a boner for trying to put Spider-Man in Europe for years, as we've been talking about, in all our mini documentaries.
it just makes me want to go to Europe. It just makes me want to go to Europe. That's the problem with it.
Yeah. And I said to somebody on the Facebook group who was saying, "Oh, well, it's stereotypical of they show stereotypical European portrayals of Europeans for Americans. Americans are so stupid for thinking." I'm like, do you realize this is not for us? This is for you. I said, this is so that so people in Europe can see things like St. Mark's Piazza and the Rialto Bridge and Tower Bridge and all this and the Tower of London and point this stuff and say, oh, look, I know what that is. And like, as if that's supposed to be a big drawing point, a big selling point, when the whole idea is you're going to see a big American movie starring big American and Hollywood movie stars.
Who's British?
Yeah, who are British now. Yeah. We've outsourced the last job that we had in America, comic book superhero. Yeah. Well, what did the British say when they surrendered at Yorktown? Yeah, Cornwallis was looking at his lieutenant. He said, Cornwallis was there. You surrendered with Benedict Arnold. Don't worry, we may have lost the colonies, but we'll be back in 200 years to take over the movies and TV. Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, but anyway, so this has been a hell of a summer for Disney, basically, to kind of lead off of that. Was there any other Spider news, or was that about it?
No, that's about it.
Okay, yeah. I don't know where this is going to segue into because there really isn't a whole hell of a lot of interesting news going on. Comic-Con hangover is the problem. You know?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Did it once, and then the studios are like, we got nothing. We got nothing. So there's been a lot of talk just about certain things. Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was there was the deleted scene from Endgame that came out today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, deleted scene from
yeah.
Oh, yes. Avengers Endgame.
I must have just missed that completely. I did take a nap though, so
Schnoozies.
I did. I needed one. I was up uncharacteristically early.
That's okay.
So
Somebody's, when people want me to get up early in the morning. Oh yeah, can you? Oh yeah, when people tell me times they get up. When my nephew gets up at 5 a.m. to go to work, I'm like, wait a minute, there's a 5 in the a.m. Who knew?
There's 2 5s. There's 2 of most numbers.
I used to get up at 4 a.m. Or try and get up at like 4 a.m. to get to work at like 6:30. I ended up just waking up earlier and earlier and earlier every day. But 6:30 a.m. was my normal start time, and it sucked. And then some weeks you'd have to go in at like 4 a.m. and it was horrible.
And now we keep you up 24/7.
Yeah, well, luckily I'm a robot and I don't need sleep. But no, it's terrible. It's terrible. Like now we're out of bed at like 11. So I'm like worried. Okay, how am I going to get to the Mego panel at Star Trek Las Vegas? Because Marty Abrams going to be there on Wednesday, and I gotta get there. It's like 11 a.m. It's like
So
what
day are you guys leaving for that?
I'm getting there Tuesday.
So excited.
Rob won't be there till Wednesday.
So now the scene here. Why is everybody freaking out now about Gamora walking away? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Well, it's from CBR, so there's got to be a Miles Morales tie-in to this somewhere.
Well, I just watched it. I don't get what the problem with it is.
Well, here's the comicbook.com one, where I guess it's got a lot of people on Twitter just
Yeah, I heard that. That's what I was talking about. I don't get what's wrong with it. She's walking away because she doesn't even know who the fuck he is. It's not like she's smirking or anything. She's just like, I'm going to let these guys have their moment. Awkward.
Okay.
I'm going to slip out of here. It's like, what the hell's wrong with that?
So Pepper kisses Tony. Okay, so Pepper kisses a dying Tony Stark, Cap and Thor.
It's not that special. Everybody just kind of kneels for him. And then Gamora walks away, just kind of like I just said, like, I'm just going to let everybody kind of have their moment because she's not the same Gamora we've known all this time.
Yeah.
And there's Plank standing there in her immaculate uniform because she showed up at the last second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but let's not complain about her coming in at the last second.
I was gonna say, let's not complain, because she wasn't. I mean, outside of that one forced scene, it wasn't that bad. Tim Riggs, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Says, "Have money. I'm getting wasted. This work week has been ridiculous, and I'm using alcohol as a memory suppressant." Well, that's what it's for, I guess.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you so much, Tim Riggs. Yep, exactly.
Make you feel good.
I don't understand what the problem with this scene is.
Yeah, it's Gamora. Gamora has no idea who this guy is. She says, "Okay, let them have their moment here to mourn." That's all this is. Okay, I'm gonna give them their moment to mourn and reflect. That's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it now.
Maybe she had to pee.
Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
Lord
I don't
knows
even remember this.
what
Is
else
it,
in that theater did at that moment in time. If that scene was still in there, they'd be like, "I gotta pee. Let's hurry this shit up."
all right. Well, did they delete the whole everybody bending the knee thing, or was that in the movie? Or
Her kiss is in the movie. I think they just cut out the whole knee bending thing. I think that's not. I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
I don't remember any knee bending.
yeah, why don't people make a bigger deal out of that? That hey, this would have like made it a little more impactful.
Maybe their line of thinking, and I'm not making excuses, but their line of thinking is maybe the funeral scene wouldn't have been as impactful with this scene in there.
That's true. Yeah.
Because you kind of have the same thing twice. You have everybody coming up, kneeling, paying their respect, and then you got the funeral scene where you show everybody again.
Mm-hmm.
We go down this long line. So again, like I said, if they had this in the theater, I'd be bitching. I'd be like, "Come on, this is
See, they
stupid."
could have cut some of the funeral though.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah, I could have done a little bit more. I would have been good with it. And look, if Lord of the Rings can get away with 25 different endings,
well, that's one of the reasons why Return of the King to me is a lesser movie than Two Towers, in my opinion as well.
It's like freaking like a zillion fake endings. It's like it's like an 80s heavy metal song, definitely making fake endings. Holy crap. Oh man. It's like Helter Skelter. I have expected Frodo to say, "I got blisters on my fingers" at the end when he finally left.
Let's face it, Jackson really didn't need to show us everything that happened. I get it, it's in the book, but after that one scene where the Return of the King scene, they should have just ended the movie there. It's just nobody needs to know. You could have just left.
There's actually a good 2 or 3 chapters that got left out of that ending.
I'm sure, because I read it years and years ago or whatever. It's so meandering. That's the problem with the Lord of the Rings. I totally get what the fuck Peter Jackson was up to, because if you've read those books, they're great, but they read almost like stereo instructions.
Yeah. So called freaking Saruman comes actually plops himself down in the Shire and starts developing new housing. I'm not kidding. And they have to kick him out.
It goes on these weird little tangents and shit. I don't know. The book stories in Two Towers, either way you cut it. So because really all Return of the King is let's go drop this ring in the lava. Okay. A couple fights. I don't get me wrong. I love these movies too. Don't get me wrong, but Kevin Smith is right. They are just a bunch of walking and talking. Even the trees walk in those movies.
A bunch of people going for a walk.
Don't get it twisted. Those are ints.
I know.
Tom's like,
I just love that scene when Randall's like, even the fucking trees walk in that movie. It's just a bunch of walking.
So actually, I got a little Shang-Chi news. If you want to cover that. Shang-Chi, master of kung fu. Apparently, some people in China are not happy about this movie. Yeah, I was right. Shang-Chi fans have misgivings over Shang-Chi's racist history. Uh-oh. Over the weekend, Marvel officially announced Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Marvel's first Chinese-led superhero, who is based on the classic 1970s character. And there seems to be one big change for Shang-Chi's story. His main villain, and potentially his father, will be the Mandarin. The real Mandarin, not the Iron Man 3 imposter, thankfully, as opposed to his original archenemy, Fu Manchu.
Excuse me.
Shang-Chi's
Excuse me, are you telling me that his father is an orange? Like a fruit?
yes, his father.
No, he's not a fruit, you fucking fool. That's a vegetable.
Wow.
In Shang-Chi's original story, his father is anyway. In Shang-Chi's original story, his father is Fu Manchu, a Chinese criminal and super spy. While licensed by Marvel Comics in the 1960s and 70s, also served as a foe for Nick Fury and others. However, Fu Manchu, created by British author Sax Rohmer in the 1900s, is depicted as a racist caricature. What? What'd you say?
You can't write that. That's racist.
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying. He's depicted as a racist caricature of early 20th century Chinese stereotypes, hardly reflective of the growing inclusivity at Marvel Studios, and certainly offensive. Okay, here's where we're going with this. Even while decades later, Marvel retconned Shang-Chi's origin, revealing that the licensed character of Fu Manchu was just an alias for an original villain, Zheng Zhu. Quartzy reports that some Chinese social media users aren't happy that Shang-Chi is coming to the big screen at all. Even the fact that the Mandarin to be played by veteran Chinese actor Tony Leung, I think that's how you pronounce it, Tony Leung, seemed to be taking the place of Fu Manchu hasn't satisfied some fans. According to quotes from Chinese social media site Weibo, translated by Quartzy, some Chinese fans fear Shang-Chi will still leave other problematic story elements intact. The point here is not whether the Mandarin is exactly Fu Manchu or just his replacement. The point is both characters emerge because of the discrimination and stereotyping of the Chinese population in previous years, reads one post translated by Quartzy. Back in the 1900s, us Chinese were too weak to fight back characters. Fight back against characters. The translation's a little wonky. To fight back against characters like this. But now we have become strong and have the ability and obligation to say no to such figures. At this time, it's unclear how the storyline of Shang-Chi will be adapted from its original source material and which story elements will be included. Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, was created by Steve Englehart and Jim Starlin for Marvel Comics in the 1970s in response to the popularity of Bruce Lee, martial arts films, and the American television series Kung Fu at the time. Somewhat conversely, just last week, speculation about casting of an actors of Chinese ancestry in Shang-Chi reportedly caused social media sensation in China, with fans enthusiastically suggesting actors for the lead role. As announced Saturday at San Diego Comic-Con, Shang-Chi will be played by Simu Liu. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is due in February and theaters February 12th, 2021. So, your plan backfired. and spectacularly.
Yeah, I wanted to do the same thing.
Like, why? This is what you get. This is what you get for just your pointless pandering and virtue signaling. We don't care.
Well, because there's no way to appease everyone.
No, you got to stop. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta stop trying to make everything so culturally inclusive and sensitive and representative. And if it's naturally that way, fine. You can't just go out of your way to virtue. It's just virtue signaling for a lot of these franchises.
Yeah, because they don't really care.
No, they just want to go around proving how not ist they are.
If they cared, they wouldn't point it out so much.
Right.
Like they would just do it, right? And it would be something that they would live mindfully of, as opposed to pointing at it. It's like a kid wanting a cookie for cleaning their room. No, clean your room. You're supposed to do that anyway.
Yes. You want, that's where that whole expression goes. You want a cookie?
Right.
Yeah. Like, what do you want?
Right.
Okay, so we got a couple super chats. DCV Titan, $5 Canadian. The biggest mystery of Lord of the Rings. If Gandalf had giant eagles, why didn't they just do a flyby and drop the ring?
Hold on, I have an answer for that. I have an answer for that. All right, so look, the eagles are like demigods, okay? And remember how Gandalf couldn't take the ring because it would corrupt him, right? The eagles were very much the same thing. They were on very much the same level, if not a little bit above Gandalf in the sort of level of power, right? It would have corrupted them, and then you would have had crazy demigod eagles flying around who would have been Sauronish, only worse because they would have been even more powerful. It's the same reason Galadriel couldn't take the ring. The eagles they don't explore it much in the films, but if you read the books, things like the Silmarillion, you'll understand that this is why, and it's actually a pretty good reason. So.
Okay, that's a good reason for part of that, but the other reason is why didn't Why didn't they just give everybody a ride where they needed to go and save everybody a bunch of hours and trouble on their bladder? Much shorter if they would.
It's that close proximity to the ring, and it was one of the reasons why Gandalf kept disappearing.
Okay, fine, I'll buy that for now.
I'll buy that.
Could I bring up that one thing I learned about a little while ago here? Is that since we're on the topic of how they push the diversity issue in movies and television, but yet they're the exact opposite behind the scenes, pretty much, and they're a bunch of hypocrites.
Actually,
They get
racist. Anti-Trucker pointed that out. They make such a big deal about diversity in Star Trek Discovery, and then he pointed out, he showed a production photo. Look, you have Michael Burnham, you have Alex Kurtzman. Everybody here is white. Everybody else I'm working on the show is a white man.
Well, I have something here that supposedly Akiva Goldsman, and this comes from a very reliable source, behind the scenes on Star Trek Discovery, has used the word, and I'm not going to say it out loud, FAGGOT in the writer's room on multiple occasions, and used a mocking femme voice and mannerisms when discussing Stamets.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Where's my center?
Do I need to whip somebody for that one?
Boo! You suck.
That's right, Don Juan. How progressive they are. Yes.
Mm-hmm. No, they just want to blame the fans for their own failure. That's the only reason why they do this diversity shit, is so that they can push this. Oh, you're ist, as an excuse for them, as to hide from their failures. Oh, you just don't like it because you're ist.
Well, not only that, this goes right to the point of what I've said before, and you've used the same. You and Mary and Mecca have both used this example. Is basically how these people are just using LGBT and people of other races besides white as just basically virtue signaling, as you pointed out. But not only that, even a worse way, kind of like how the old circus used to bring people out in the freak shows and exploit them for money, and because they're like, look what we got, the chicken boy, we got the bearded lady, that's basically what is happening here. And I just hope that more people wake up, because there's been a few people. You want to get woke. The true woke is when you wake up and realize, holy shit, these people are just using me. These people are worse than, or just as bad or worse than any of the racist shit and the bigotry and the sexist and other isms that you've had to deal with in the past. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's right in your face until you actually react to it and say, no, I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm not going to be your fucking token. I'm not going to be your chicken boy to drag out on stage and use. Then it's your guys' fault. It's people like Anthony Rapp who put up with shit like that. If this is true, Anthony. If this is true, Anthony, then you're the one who needs to do something about this. Okay? You're the one who needs to stand up and say, wait, I'm not going to work for somebody who says these kind of things, especially on a show that totes us out there like the token whatever, be it gay person for him or, African-American or black person for Sonequa Martin Green, however you put it. It's like, you can paint all the colors of the rainbow you want into your show, but that doesn't make you progressive. Right. What makes you progressive is to see people as people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what I get upset about once in a while. Mary, Drunk 3PO, of course. I jump on his streams once in a while when he's got, Drunk 3PO and three black guys or whatever it is. Yeah. And some of the questions, some of the people ask in the chat, it's just like, really? How do you even ask questions like that? It's like, what difference does it make if they're black or white? Pretty much everybody reacts the same. Someday, some people will figure out, what? It has nothing to do really with your culture so much as how you're raised and what you're raised around. Yeah. That's all it's about. The stereotypes are stereotypes about, not so much about a race of people or culture of people, it's more about the culture of raised in, not so much the color of your skin is what I'm trying to get at. Sorry.
So, anyway. If it's okay, I'll make a note on that because, and I feel like I can speak to this to some extent because my sister married a black man. My nephew's mixed, right? And there are
Mhm.
some things that you can't ignore, right? Like my nephew's hair is, it's a black person's hair, so something she had to learn about, right? But my nephew is as white bread as it gets. Okay, he's raised by a white woman and a mother and a father who raise him in a good neighborhood. They send him to a special school, not because he's special, but because he's incredibly intelligent, and so he gets high marks, and so he goes to a really well-to-do school. And so my nephew is sort of just this white bread little mixed kid, right? This has to do with culture. This has to do with how you raise a person, not the color of their skin, because he's dark. He's a very dark little boy, and that has nothing to do with anything. If you never saw the color of my nephew's skin, you would never know that he was mixed, because he speaks in a way that any person who speaks when they're brought up in a good neighborhood with good surroundings and in good ways would speak, right? Like, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. It's just the color of his skin. That's all it is. This is about culture and how you raise your kids, not about a person's color of their skin. That's what this boils down to.
Well, that's why I would say is we're regressing as a society. They're boiling it down to these stupid, superficial things that nobody cares about at the end of the day. For the past, as long as I can remember, people have been, marrying who they please, no matter how light or dark they are. It's never been an issue. You can go to any restaurant, grocery store, anywhere, and see, people of all walks of life, of all shades. And you'll see mixed families, and it's something that is so normal.
Mm-hmm.
It is not even a big deal anymore. I don't know why people have to step back and make it like it is a big deal anymore. Like, it's just not a thing that people care about. And to boil us down and put it in these boxes is so regressive and insulting.
Yep.
And I always say that if your gender or your race or whatever is the only thing that's important about you, then you're not an interesting person. It's like the LGBT stuff. If your gender or your pronouns or any of that stuff, if that's your only interesting thing, put your genitals as your profile pic, because that's all you are, is a walking dickhead or a walking cunt face.
Right.
I'm tired of these people.
And I don't want to get too political, which we have
Yeah.
already, but it's true. And it goes to the same things I've been saying for a while, as far as like, a lot of these people who are griping about, inclusivity and diversity, I don't think they've noticed that things have been pretty diverse and inclusive now for a while. I mean, yeah, things could get better, don't get me wrong.
Sure, but it can always be better. There's no such thing as perfect.
No, and that's just it. It's like, now you're just making it worse by, pointing fingers at everything. And you were the same, a lot of these people were the same people who are going around saying, don't judge me by the color of my skin. Don't judge me by my sex. Don't judge me by my orientation. Don't judge me by my label. Okay, I remember hearing that all throughout the 90s. Yep. Now all of a sudden is, pay attention to my fucking label. You better make sure you get my label right, or that's an insult. And it's like, come on, people, what the fuck? Make up your minds here which one you want. It's like, you got to pick one or the other.
I'm beyond this. That's what I want. I want us to move beyond this.
I agree.
I want to go back to where, I was looking at my favorite captain from Star Trek was Cisco. I was looking up at him not because of the color of his skin, but because of the character he played. And we need to go back to that. I am so tired of these regressives that just go around trying to ruin people's lives because they disagree with you, because they're going to call you an ist, because they're going to call you a name. They're just bullies. I got bullied my whole life because of people. I am not going to be bullied anymore.
Well, actually, let's move out of the whole political realm to a point, because the next story I want to talk about.
First,
do you
have a couple super chats there?
Got
a couple.
Okay,
couple super chats. Yes,
that's
what I said.
Oh, poi spiegare ya che l'uomo che vuoi.
Yes. So a couple. $4.99 Tim Riggs. Nerdrotic is calling Phase 4 the MCU. Sounds like Marvel might ditch the U.S. market in favor of China, so maybe we can call it the MCU. XI. I see what you did there. And that's what we got. But actually, there's a couple of stories let's get to.
Okay, yeah. Where did you send this one to me, Mecca? Because I seen it too, but I think it was
Oh, I've got some in the meat
John
chat.
Wick?
the Tarantino one.
Oh, Tarantino.
Yeah, there's a few in the meat chat.
I wanted the Tarantino one where people are griping about him. Where did you say?
Well,
Oh, the Mary Sue did that one.
well,
Mary Sue? Yeah.
I don't like giving those
Oh.
cunts any views.
I know, but this just pisses me off because other outlets are not picking it up.
Here you go. Here's the one. Here you go.
They've been having a field day with him all week, and now this.
I'm wondering if we're not going to get something dropped at Star Trek Las Vegas about this, because we keep hearing about this Tarantino thing.
Oh, this isn't the one I was talking about either.
Oh.
I was talking about the one where they're saying Hollywood doesn't need Tarantino anymore or whatever. Remember?
Oh, that was in that one. That was in the New York Post. That was in the New York Post.
I'll get it
Can you hear
now.
me? That
Go
was
get
in
it.
your-
Yeah, go get it. I don't have it.
Yeah, but I'm working on it. Yeah, this is just, and this reminded me
Well,
of
it's
what we're talking about here. And really, all this is because guess what? Tarantino makes movies like old guys used to make movies. That's why. Tarantino's exploitation has no place in Hollywood anymore. But yet it's okay for y'all to sit out there and exploit everybody else, right? I don't really see Quentin Tarantino's movies as exploitive. His movies have a style, and that style comes from an era of exploitation films, and we'll move from this into the Star Trek story, so don't worry. But yeah. You got that, Rob? I got the link there for you. New York Times says Quentin Tarantino's exploitation has no place in Hollywood anymore. $4.99 from Tim Riggs. Thank you so much. No cha-ching.
Ka-ching.
I think we lost Rob. A monkey.
my mic is muted.
Well, something.
My mic was muted.
A monkey high on blow and acid could write more cogent.
I'm sure he meant coherent.
Cogent, yeah. Article by whacking its pecker on a keyboard.
Wow.
That's very true, Tim Riggs. And thank you again for the super chat. We appreciate those so much. I haven't heard how well the Tarantino movie's doing. I want to go see it. I've been trying to avoid just about everything I can about it.
The Thursday box office was good. Like 5
Do you know,
point,
man?
6 million.
That's not bad.
Well, anyway, this is what Sarah Stewart had to say. And Sarah Stewart looks exactly like every one of these people who writes these articles. She's got long, probably most likely blonde hair, glasses, the sort of dead eyes, that blank expression, like saying, like, I think I'm so smart, but you're actually trying to be smarter than you actually are.
Does she have that millennial face?
You know? Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Most likely she lives in Brooklyn.
Ugh. Oh, like Chelsea Steiner and all those fucking
Move from the Midwest to Brooklyn, forcing the elderly or minorities out of their homes that they had for years to move into a luxury apartment. Yeah, displacing, and then she probably turns around and says, "I feel so in touch with the diversity of the city." Yeah, you're so in touch, right? The whole 100 feet that you go from your front door to the subway. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
so
she sees a black guy walking near her. Grip her purse close to her. It's like, dude, just because he's black, he's not going to steal your purse, you dumb bitch.
She probably works from her apartment.
That's true.
Said.
If I was a black guy and somebody did that to me, you know what I'd do? I'd be like, honey, don't worry about it. It does not match my shoes.
Right.
Just fuck with their mind. Just fuck with their mind.
Just embarrass them for being stupid.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, Quentin Tarantino's exploitation has no place in Hollywood anymore. As opposed to what? Exactly? As opposed to the totally innocuous, bland milquetoast entertainment that you want.
I don't know.
What was that, Mecca? I didn't.
I'd rather watch Tarantino than the shit that they're putting out in Hollywood. Like, I've seen what they're putting out.
They're bound and determined to make Rob a Tarantino fan by the end of the month.
Right? I'm okay with that. I think he'll enjoy Reservoir Dogs at least.
Oh, I'm sure he'll like most of, especially Jackie Brown and a couple of the other ones too. I think he'll like. But anyway, yeah, because that's an Elmore like.
Quentin Tarantino's new movie. Should I read this like Chelsea Steiner? Quentin Tarantino's new movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is a love letter to the film industry's days of yore. In the late 60s, to be exact, men were men, female actors were starlets, and the words Me Too had yet to be hashtag. It shouldn't come as a huge surprise that a guy who partnered with producer Harvey Weinstein up until the latter's shattering downfall would feel a bit nostalgic about the good old retro days in the film biz. But just like Harvey, Tarantino and his oeuvre, I think it is, are things that should now are things that now should move quietly into the boy bye column. What the fuck is boy? What?
Oh, garbage tier. Just saying.
Okay, one of two things: either she
BOY, comma BYE.
Then she's either trying to write bye bye and fucked up, or trying to be cute.
It's a boy bye.
Yep. And you fuckers wonder why we know there's a fucking agenda to get rid of white males.
There was a time and place for Tarantino, who gave us his share of strong female characters. Uma Thurman's Beatrix Kiddo in Kill Bill, Pam Grier's fierce Jackie Brown, but never strayed far from his urge to exploit in his films, fetishizing the N-word and relishing in the sadistic treatment of women. Look no further than Jennifer Jason Leigh's Daisy Demerag, taking a truly stupendous number of punches in the face, and then much worse over a 3-hour span of The Hateful Eight. I didn't see The Hateful Eight, Tom.
If you see that movie, she deserves that shit. She is one ruthless bitch. These people don't understand shit. They don't understand anything, period.
Thomas, you are just a toxic male. I am trying to make the world a better place, and you don't appreciate my work, don't you?
You know what? I'll tell you what, Sarah. Here's the problem. Back in the day, guess what?
What?
They probably treated her pretty good, because most women, that's called putting them in their place and keeping them in line. It was called back then. Now, I don't agree with this mentality before anybody goes and throws that out there. That doesn't change the fact that that wasn't the way things were back then.
Oh, Black Phoenix says, boy bye, an expression stolen from black people. Don't you dare accuse me of cultural appropriation. I identify as a black woman, even though I am white as the driven snow. Okay, honey? I have not dated a white boy for at least 10 years. All right. Look at how open-minded I am, parading my new boyfriend around my parents who disapprove of my relationship. And just to get back at them, I'll date a black woman. How you like that?
And it's not because they think I shouldn't be dating a black man either. It's because they think that he can do so much better than me, and I'm just a bitch. Anyway.
Okay. Tarantino's early movies were taut and sharp and shocking. The stuck in the middle with you torture scene in Reservoir Dogs, the banter and brutal killings done by John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson's hitmen in Pulp Fiction. Those flicks were endlessly quotable and addictively over the top, but in the end, made you feel as if you just spent a couple of hours with a film geek who rarely got out of the video store, which is where the director used to work.
And that was what was good about them.
Tarantino worshippers.
Movies.
Tarantino worshippers and cinephiles will gush over his new movie's gorgeous depiction of old Hollywood, its twisty conclusion, and Leonardo DiCaprio Brad Pitt's dedicated leathery performances as, respectively, an actor and his faithful stuntman hanging out in the days leading up to the Manson family murders. But anyone who dared ask why Roman Polanski's actress wife Sharon Tate, Margot Robbie, the ostensibly heart of the film, is reduced to an almost wordless entity, was summarily dismissed. I just reject your hypothesis, Tarantino growled at a reporter who asked as much at the Cannes Film Festival, where the movie premiered. I think Sarah watches too much Sex in the City.
Perhaps.
Okay, I can't stay in character anymore. This is too annoying. That's interesting because I reject some of the Tarantino's hypothesis. I don't care what you reject, including the one about Polanski's innocence regarding the sexual assault of the 13-year-old. Look, she was down with it. He didn't rape a 13-year-old. It was statutory rape. All right. She wanted to have. Yeah, that's over the line. Tarantino said in 2003 interview with Howard Stern, for which he was eventually shamed into apologizing. I also question having having Uma Thurman do her own stunt driving in Kill Bill, during which she crashed and hurt herself. And his notion that
trying to do a piece on Tarantino right now is all it is.
Yeah, this is a hit piece. This is a hit piece.
Look.
So was she the bitch that was told he rejects her hypothesis? Is that why?
It's interesting though. She's slamming him, right? Like she's slamming him for not empowering females enough, right? But at the same time, and I know this is going to be some wonky logic, so walk with me here for a second. He thought Uma Thurman could do her own stunts. Should he have made her do it? No. Was it a bad call? Of course. And did she get hurt? Yes. But he also thought she could do it. He clearly thought she was empowered. Just saying.
Well, from what
they marketed it as it was like a good. Sorry, they marketed it as this powerful female role for Kill Bill. That's what I saw it as. You know,
right. Well, that goes into what I was about to say anyway. But as far as the whole accident thing, from what I've heard, it may not have anything to do with Tarantino. It could have been the negligence on the stunt people's part. Now, the story has grown into this big, huge thing, and I'm not going to get into it right now because that's the thing is we don't know exactly what happened. We just know what was said from Tarantino. We know what was said from, a few other places. And basically, it's one of those things that fucking happens in Hollywood. Okay. Now, the difference is people are trying to paint it like Tarantino did it on purpose and put his actress in danger on purpose. That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard in Hollywood ever.
Yeah.
You realize how much 9 times out of 10, most of these stars insist on doing this shit. It gives the producers and the director a heart attack because that's the last thing they fucking need is for their star to get hurt or killed.
Look at Daniel Craig. You have Sarah Stewart. You have a problem with Daniel Craig doing his own stunts? Do you? Do you have a problem with Jackie Chan doing his own stunts? Do you?
So every time he's gotten hurt, that was the director's fault?
Do you know how many times Jackie Chan's been hurt on movies? Do you have a problem with Tom Cruise?
Hasn't he broken every bone in his body at some point in the movies? Yeah.
Do you have a problem with... Oh, God. Who does... A lot of people do their own... A lot of guys do their own stunts. Or did she have a problem with Brie Larson doing her own stunts?
That she didn't actually do?
Yeah, but she didn't. She lied.
Exactly. She didn't do her own stunts, which is probably why she doesn't have a problem. Brie Larson did what she had to do.
The only stunts that Brie Larson did were the mental gymnastics to get where she said she did her own stunt.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rob. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think she means her stunt by, yes, I was actually there upside down on set, hanging from the thing.
Well,
that's a stunt, right?
I love it when Mahler calls her plank.
Well, I watched them and it was so intense. It was like I was there doing it myself. Okay, I didn't actually watch them actually happen. I watched them in dailies the next day, but it's a metaphor.
Okay.
Brie Larson eat a hamburger.
I
Big Mac, scrawny bitch.
I dreamt about it that one time, and therefore.
And this thing of trying to connect Weinstein with Tarantino is the dumbest fucking thing in the world. Do you realize that just about everybody working in Hollywood today has probably worked with Tarantino in some or Weinstein in some capacity at some point?
Yeah, let's just kick all of Hollywood out. Actually, now that we mention it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I always say support the YouTubers instead of Hollywood, instead of the movies. That's what I always say. Because we're giving you more entertainment than Hollywood lately.
And we do it every damn day is the thing.
But really, there's been how many people have worked with Weinstein, and you're really going to blacklist all these fucking people just because they've happened to work with Harvey Weinstein before? Guess what, folks? A lot of women worked with him too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean just, I'm sure he didn't sleep with all of them. So, come on. And I'm not even sticking up for Harvey in any way, shape, or form. The guy's a vile fucking creature, and all he did was buy Oscars for years. But Disney, yeah, that's just what I was getting to, Mary. Disney and Weinstein were intertwined for well over like 10, 15, 20 years almost.
Oh, yeah.
Miramax and Dimension are both Weinstein companies through Disney.
Well, Tim Rigg.
Me for a second. I was like, what? What did I do?
$4.99 super chat. Maybe Margot Robbie was there for a pair of fun bags and a round backside for dialogue.
No, I haven't gotten lucky enough to see the movie yet, but I've heard that the whole situation is actually handled pretty well and tastefully for the most part. So I don't understand why. And when was it her that actually asked the question? Because I seen the thing where Tarantino says, "I reject your hypothesis." Was it her that he said it to, or was it to somebody else that she's talking about?
No, Tarantino said it to her.
All right, that explains everything.
Hold on. What does he say? Tarantino's.
I don't even think she saw the movie yet.
They call. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, but anyone who dared to ask why Roman Polanski's actress wife Sharon Tate, played by Margot Robbie, the essential heart of the film is reduced to an almost wordless entity, was summarily dismissed. I reject your hypothesis. Tarantino growled at a reporter who asked as much at the Cannes Film Festival where the movie premiered.
Somebody else asked it. That's what I was wondering, because I've seen that exchange. And that was at the Cannes Film Festival. That's what I'm saying. I don't think anybody had even seen the movie at this point. I think they were going into the premiere or whatever.
Yeah, this is an obvious hit piece. This is an obvious hit piece.
Why do they not like Tarantino? Because he makes people that people actually want to see and not think about some social fucking issue for an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's why.
Well, let me finish this out, okay? Diane Kruger said Inglourious Basterds was the only hold on. Notion strength. Hold on. Starting to crash. There's notion that dangerously strangling Diane Kruger instead of Inglourious Basterds was the only way to get a genuine reaction shot from her. Also, that using the N-word Nate made magic. Okay, as a critic, I'm not immune to the charms of Tarantino's cinematic grandiosity. I swooned over Inglourious Basterds and Django Unchained as near masterpieces in spite of their faults. But The Hateful Eight, his last movie with Weinstein, was a come down. Phrasing. a ridiculously long wallow in the spectacle of 70mm film with little regard for an audience's patience or tolerance for grim violence. And Once Upon a Time marks a different low for the director. It's kind of pointless. In a world where we have an increasing number of heroic females, especially in films written and directed by actual women, as opposed to fake women.
Here we go. This is it. This was the crux.
Here it comes. It may be game over for male auteurs who create supposedly strong women on camera and denigrate them from behind it. In 2019, we don't need that type of guy anymore, especially one who thinks silencing Sharon Tate for most of his film is somehow a fitting homage. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, maybe, but not now.
Silencing Sharon Tate?
I'd say Charles Manson did a pretty good job of that.
Actually, it was
anyway.
it was Susan Atkins. But no, seriously though, like this is probably why I don't need to see the movie. I know everything about the case. Are you kidding me? Quentin Tarantino has enough money and backing. He will do this without Hollywood. This is where we're at now. If Hollywood wants to kick out all the talented people and make it a we hate you and we're going to go off on this little recult of bullshit, maybe we're just going to divorce ourselves from Hollywood at this point, or at least the crazy part of it. We don't need you bashing people who are established filmmakers who are actually doing something halfway decent. Just what? For having the balls to tell you off? Now I want Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek, and I hate JJ Star Trek.
Well, we'll get to that in a moment. Here's my thing with this. She should have kept her fucking mouth shut. You want to know why? Tarantino is one of those guys where he's been saying for a while now he's going to quit at 10, and he's done. Okay? Now, there's been a lot of talk about what his last movie is going to be. This kind of shit is going to make him go, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to make 10 more fucking movies. Yeah, and they're all going to be really fucking bad.
He's the type to do that too.
Yes.
I'm okay with that. We need more people with his balls, basically. With the balls to do it.
Okay, because I totally reject your hypothesis, okay? Fuck you and your stupid hypothesis. I'm gonna make 10 more fucking movies just to fucking piss you off.
See, the difference between him and Rian Johnson is that he actually had a few movies under his belt, and had some talent to back up his vision, and he made movies that are actually pretty decent. and are pretty well liked, and they don't piss off half of the audience.
No, I would love to see somebody argue with me and try and tell me that any one of his movies is not worthy of at least an 8 out of 10 or better.
Yeah, I mean, I even like Pulp Fiction, which I'm not the hugest fan of, I still think it's a pretty damn good movie. It's just not my favorite of his. Even like Kill Bill 2, I'm like, well, I like 1 better than 2, but there's nothing really wrong with 2. It's just you're coming off of 1. Right?
Yeah, Tarantino is not the most popular guy in the world. He's very outspoken. He has no filter. Now,
and that's what I like about him. I think I like people like that. I like people who have that sort of, like I said, that kind of balls to do it.
And he don't give a shit.
Unlike who, Mecca?
Unlike a Ryan Johnson or yeah.
Well, the difference between a Ryan Johnson and a Tarantino is Tarantino actually has a vision, actually understands dialogue and storytelling, understands character development, and he does it in a B-movie fashion at the same time. Like the movies that he's emulating, all the things that he does great in these movies are things that these movies are not normally known for greatness in that category. You know what I mean? Like he'll make like a movie that's meant to be like an exploitation film. Yeah, you can call it that, but these characters are smart. They're well crafted. There's a production quality to the film that you're not going to find anywhere else. And even though it's emulating a lot of these exploitation films from the 70s, it isn't like them though. It doesn't have the same. I'm trying to think of one. Has Tarantino even had that much nudity in any of his movies? I'm trying to think.
Maybe. Not really. I mean, he has a lot of. They're more dialogue driven. I can't remember much.
It'd be different, and there's not even that many scantily clad women or anything like that. So this bitch, and I'm gonna call her that. This bitch just needs to shut the fuck up and leave shit alone. Let us have something. You know, you can't piss on everything and expect us to not sooner or later get pissed. You
Bitch.
know? That's right.
And Tarantino gave us one of the strongest women ever with Uma Thurman in Kill Bill. Like she was incredible. So I think he gets a pass. He's like a James Cameron or somebody. He's like, you gave us some strong female characters. You're fine. You know, you don't see women as less than. You see people as, you know, hey, this character needs to do this and this character needs to be this.
And if you think about it, like that entire movie, Kill Bill, was female driven, right? Like it wasn't just her like swimming in a sea of testosterone. No, it was a crap ton of women, right? Like you had all of, I think it was like a total of 4 women and 1 dude on a team. And so you're talking
more than that,
about,
actually.
Well, yeah, and she had the mother arc too. Yeah. So he did a better Lifetime movie than any of the people on Lifetime.
You're a whore.
And he made it relatable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't understand everybody gets all worked up over this. It's so
what's this chick's name? Sarah Stewart? Screw you, Sarah Stewart. You're a cunt.
Bitch.
Well, it's just shit like
Always
this.
remember, you're a whore.
It's just stupid shit like this that, you know, is going to continue to make this much more difficult on both sides of the aisle. Okay, you know, it's just why? What is the point of this article? What? Just because you want to bash Tarantino a little bit?
Well, she's clearly another white hair or blonde with the big glasses, and she probably does live. What's her Twitter? What's your Twitter? Oh no, that's the share. She probably has a Twitter. Yeah, the Sarah Stewart chick.
Sarah Stewart.
I was like looking at them. I was like, follow on Twitter. Oh, she has a Twitter.
Just to see. Yeah. Just to see. And like you said, it's her Twitter.
Temporarily restricted. Yes, view profile. Nice. Oh, 0 following and 0 followers is the one that she linked. It's a fake account. Or it's a new account.
It's a fake
account. So this is the one that they linked. Or she just started it like today. No followers, no following. 9 hours ago. She just made a Twitter.
Who does that?
I don't know.
She's probably getting a bunch of like off this article alone.
Right, Or maybe
Well, no, she has no followers or she doesn't follow anyone here.
She knew she would get hate, so she like preemptively.
Well, she might have deleted hers. Huh.
Well, it says no search. Nobody came up with what. Well, what's? I closed that tab. Let me reopen. Reopen close tab. Because it says follow on Twitter, and she doesn't have it. She doesn't have a Twitter profile.
Is there any way to hide your Twitter followers?
Well, it was secured.
Follow on Twitter. Connect with Sarah Stewart on Twitter. Let's see what happens when we press that link.
See, I was like
Sarah
doing this.
Stewart.
I was like looking at who is so hateful and going out of there, because like I put my face on camera when I rant about, like Alex Kurtzman or whatever.
You're seeing this warning because there's been some unusual activity from this account. Do you still want to review it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. View my profile. Let's take a look. Energy joined July 2019. See. Okay. All right.
Have a
Hello.
whole retweet.
She apparently, she just created this. Did she just create this?
Yeah, it looks like it was just created 9 hours ago.
Yeah,
Zero following.
Feed off this fucking article. That's why.
Yeah.
She had one retweet from Eric Chung from the Hong Kong photo from the Hong Kong International Airport protest. One from 9 hours ago. Well, hello Twitter. Goodbye,
Yeah, so
Sarah.
it's like she just made an account because she just got this article.
Sarah F. Stewart.
She probably has like an account that has like a, some stupid, like Raylo 2019 or something. She probably has like some other Twitter account, but she needed one for this article, so she had to make one just to link to this article.
Well, that's what
it seems like.
Let's Google her.
All right,
Sarah Stewart.
Sarah F. Stewart, because it looks like.
Said in the chat, he goes, even Twitter knows she's shady.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad when Twitter even knows you're shady.
Well, because remember the little piss boy article, and he's sitting there on a giant pink couch.
Oh, Jesus.
About Sarah Stewart. Sarah Stewart is a film critic writer in New York Post. Oh, she has a website, sarahstewart.org. Ooh.
Yikes.
Let's take a look. Oh, wait a minute. It's hold on. sarahstewart.org.
It's restricted. You're white male, so you can't look at it. Totally.
So let's take a look at her link. Let's take a look at her LinkedIn.
All right. Well, looks like Mary's got to be going. We do have to remind everybody that we got shenanigans coming up.
Northwestern. She went to Northwestern University, which is a big prestigious. It's in Illinois, isn't it? Or was
I don't know.
I know it. I've heard of it.
Yeah, 1991 through 1995. She's almost as old as I am. Fuck you.
Right, that's garbage. All right, Mary. Tell everybody where to find you. I see you put your link in the chat already. If I could talk.
I sure did. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna be starting shenanigans here in about 30 minutes. So that's my weekly comedy show. It's kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway? So we start that at 10 p.m. Eastern. 7 Pacific. So yeah, and you can see these beautiful people on this panel over there, and myself as well as a few other of my friends. We're gonna get into some shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us as always, and of course we love having shenanigans, so we will be over there shortly. It's fun to let loose and have some fun, so do join us for that.
Absolutely, and thank you guys for having me. I just have to get some stuff taken care of before I go live. So
do we
understand? What's up, Rob?
Do we want to read? Do we want to read what her description is on her own?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just say bye to Mary quick. Oh, she just went.
So, bye, Mary. Oh, bye, Mary.
All right, go ahead and do that then, Rob.
Let me link that to you first of all, so everybody can share in the hilarity. So,
when the hilarity ensues,
everybody can just share in the hilarity right there.
I have to make a video on this.
Take a look at her. She's got.
Oh my god, she looks like a snotty bitch. Or trying. Like, can I talk to your manager?
Exactly. Sarah Stewart is a film critic and features writer at the New York Post, which means she works from her apartment. She is the co-author of the memoir "Girl on a Wire" and a freelancer. Freelancer. There you go. Means that she's unemployable. who's written about cancer and the painkiller backlash for CNN Opinion, environmental activism for the Contently Foundation for Investigative Journalism, and the Huffington Post. Film critiquing, while feminist for The Hollywood Reporter, television for Women in Hollywood, Sex and Love for Cosmopolitan. She's not getting any. Who's she kidding? She's writing about sex and love for. She's a lonely old. She's a lonely.
Over under how many cats she have? 3 to 6.
I think she's got at least 4.
I think she has 3. I think she has 3, and I think she's like those bitches on Sex in the City who goes around complaining about every man in the world, and they're just disposable after a month. And then now she's this age, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm alone."
You mean people that have been told one too many times that maybe you're the problem and just doesn't want to hear it?
Yeah. I mean, she's written about women in finance for Glamour, world travels for CNN Travel, New York Post, and Yahoo Travel, and more. Oh, for God's sake. A recent post was the Quentin Tarantino has no place in Hollywood anymore. Let's see. What are
oh yeah, but she's definitely riding that wave. That's what the Twitter shit's about. What an opportunist. And she's been trying to do this for how many? She's our age, Rob. That's sad. That's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pathetic. Don't get me wrong. We're Z-grade YouTube celebrities. You know,
I'm a double Z grade.
I don't know. Never mind. I shouldn't say shit.
No, I'll say it. I mean, listen.
It's a difference, though. I mean, people try to say we're toxic. We're actually pretty nice to a lot of our subjects. Like, we didn't do hardly any Les Moonves videos. We could have done a dozen of those. You know what I mean? We could have had a field day with that shit. We didn't.
Oh, there's something that just came out today from the Mary Sue about CDS.
What came out with Les Moonves? I'm Les Moonves. Wait, what's going on? I'm Les Moonves. Trying my Les Moonves character. What's going on? What do I do now?
Well, before we jump onto that, let's just say to Mary Sue's a bunch
of
jumping on. They're garbage too. They're garbage too.
Somebody's jumping on me, Les Moonves. What's going on?
They're trying to make fun of Quentin Tarantino because he does not understand how the movie timeline works. Do they forget to bring up the fact that JJ doesn't even understand how it fucking works too?
Yeah, and he's okay with that. He's like, that's okay. Nobody likes them, and he knows that, and he doesn't care because he just made whatever money he was going to make off of it, and he moved on to the next thing, which was Star Wars.
Don't make me read the Mary Sue.
Well, you don't have to read it. Fuck that. We're not going to read it. We're not going to. No. No, it's just the point we know they don't even understand what the fuck they're talking about.
No, they're a hate group.
The whole point of that conversation, and the whole point of that conversation.
Ooh. Can we get the Mary Sue registered as a hate group with the ACLU?
That'd be nice. But anyway, no, I shouldn't even say that. But here, the thing is like this. Jesus, you guys have been that are out there calling us a bunch of horse shit. Right here is your proof that there's a separation, and it only has to do with JJ being a greedy bastard. For all those people who misquote us, we have never said that they have to do anything 25%. The only thing that has to be 25% different is if Paramount is making a movie and they use pre-created characters. They have to at least be 25% different so they're not associated or confused with the original characters. Outside of that, they can do whatever they want from the old shows, anything. But if they want to sell a phaser, it has to be 25% different, or CBS gets that money, not Paramount, not Bad Reboot.
It's all about merchandising, people. Comes back to merchandising.
So the answer is no. This shit does not have to be so different. Discovery didn't have to be so different necessarily. They made that choice so they could try and sell this shit, but nobody's buying. That's what we've been saying. So basically what JJ told him was, you don't have to adhere to that shit. So JJ is totally basically got permission, or Tarantino basically got permission to go and do whatever the fuck he wants with those characters. Because that's what we've been saying all this time. You know, it's like, it's all about the Benjamins, baby.
It's all about Benjamins. Slytherin Peanut wants to know, did Melman eat Jake yet? No, he didn't.
They did chase each other around the cabin for a while, and I thought he was trying to eat him, but then I found out they were just playing tag.
All right. Do we have anything else let's talk about?
No, actually, what was the other thing that you just brought up? Oh, CBS thing. That's right.
Yeah, it was just some
Hey, Whitney Davis calls out the racial and sexual harassment she allegedly faced within the company.
What the hell?
Okay, hold on. Let me time index this because we got a heading here for Tarantino with nothing else.
That's fine.
No time. Yeah, let me just time index this one. We're coming up on $1.25.
Yeah, we gotta hurry this up. Cha-ching! Tim Riggs. I'd rather use a live hand grenade as a suppository than suffer through another Jar Jar Abrams movie. And sentiments, sir. I understand.
This is written by Princess Weeks. How pretentious you got to be for named Princess?
Well, I mean, he's got stupid fucking parents.
Yeah. Former CBS employee Whitney Davis calls out the racial and sexual harassment she allegedly faced within the company. Whitney Davis, in a powerful and emotional letter for Variety, breaks down the race and gender harassment, and discrimination she experienced at CBS over her years, as well as the treatment of other people of color. Davis explains, find out what she looks like, this Whitney Davis. Davis explains that she felt prompt to discuss this after the CBS investigation that came about due to the harassment claims against former studio's CBS CEO Les Moonves. During the investigation, she gave what she describes as a heart-wrenching 2-hour interview with 6 attorneys from both independent firms who were sent to investigate the company. She claims that she talked about workplace fraught with systemic racism, discrimination, and sexual harassment, expecting there to be a follow-up. However, she heard nothing until she saw that their report had been leaked. She then called CBS investigative hotline, which told her that the inquiry was closed. It was then I realized I had long tried to... oh, boy. It was then that I realized what I had long tried to ignore, Davis writes. CBS has a white problem. Oh, for Christ's sakes. Davis brings up the fact that there is not a single black creative executive working at CBS Television Network or CBS Television Studio.
Actually.
That of the network's 36 creative executives, there are only 3 women of color, none of whom are black. Black people don't normally go into these positions.
Well, it's not just that. CBS is like the white breadest, oldest founded.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, I'm not sticking up for them at all. They probably do.
No. Take a look at their primetime lineup.
But what we was just saying earlier, actually, this ties directly into what I was saying earlier. How many fucking people do they got behind the scenes working that are diverse? Hardly any, but yet they try to tote all those people out on screen.
Mm-hmm.
We're diverse. CBS is diverse because we got Star Trek and it's diverse. You got to pay attention here, folks.
There was not one executive of color working in casting at CBS, she says. The one Latinx. Oh, would you stop making up freaking words?
What the fuck does that mean?
Latinx. I think it's a type of jungle cat. Latinx.
I was just gonna say exact same.
Does he have the big ear thing? The big like hair on his ears that sticks up. Those are cute. I love those guys.
The one Latinx executive hired in casting last year lasted 8 months. 8 months. He works at Netflix now. Only left for a better job.
No shit. Well, that's showing how good CBS All Access is doing, huh?
Mm-hmm. Davis then breaks down the experiences she faced during her many years at CBS, starting off at the CBS Evening News when she was 23 years old and a college journalism graduate. She had a coworker share some family lore, which included, "My dad has effed black women and he loved it." Although horrified, Davis kept quiet about the culture because she didn't want to risk ruining her career opportunities by being labeled difficult for complaining. You know, there are 2 other networks in town. You can go work with
the truth. I'm not saying she's a liar, but you're right, Rob. Why not just get another job at that point? You know, and why wait this long to say something? I believe her. I'm not saying she's wrong.
I think it's characteristic. Most people jump jobs after 2 years. Like, yeah, it's kind of I don't know. It seems
stepping stone.
Yeah.
Other things she swallowed for the sake of upward mobility, having herself and the only other black. Why did they capitalize black? That's just bizarre.
Because it's written by an angry black woman.
Oh,
I think if it's proper in that sense, I don't know.
her name's but the person's name is not Black Woman.
No, I know, but I'm trying to think of a good reason.
And the other
His writer is angry. That's the only reason I can think of.
Well, anyway, the having herself and the only other black woman working on the broadcast get called Weedra, short for Whitney and Deidre. What I don't understand. I mean, what?
Get it?
Yeah, people call me Robbo. I mean, that's I don't get pissed off about that. In every job I've had at CBS, coworkers have confused me with other black women in the office as if we're interchangeable. Do you know how many times at work you get called by the wrong name? Especially if it's a big place?
I have people accuse me of doing something and they're like, oh yeah, it's just because you have the brown hair and the glasses. This is before I had my red hair. I'm like, I never had any interaction with these people ever. You know, are you sure it was me? Because there's like 20 girls with brown hair and glasses at this job.
I don't think most people understand just how demeaning these daily microaggressions are. Oh, that's a millennial term if I ever heard one.
Microaggression? How is it micro?
I'm in the dick when I hear that.
Or maybe they do and they don't care.
Here's the thing, okay, before you go on,
Okay.
because this is something that, you know, bothers me, is she's just assuming that these people are misinterpreting the black people there, and she's taking that as an aggressive, like they're doing it on purpose. Like they're purposefully mixing them up. That's not an aggressive.
I wonder if they looked like if they like both had.
I hate it. See, now she's making me make excuses for people and doing possible racist things.
Right. I just wonder. No, really, I do. I wonder, like, were they wearing the same outfit? You know, did they have? If they're like a CBS page or something, they would be wearing a uniform.
Okay, you know, there's a lot to read here, but let's take a look at Princess.
Well, we got kind of through the most of it. Find the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, listen to what Princess Weeks, how she's described in her profile. Princess, she/her bisexual, is a Brooklyn-born Megan Fox truther. What the hell does that even mean? Who loves Sailor Moon, mythology, and diversity within the sci-fi/fantasy.
What?
Still
A truther? I mean, you know what those people are?
What?
People who believe that fucking Megan Fox used to be a man or some shit like that. If I'm
What? So she's a crazy person. Well, we kind of knew.
Still lives in Brooklyn with her over 500
flat earther out there too. While you're at it, oh my god,
lives in Brooklyn with her 5 what?
She still lives in Brooklyn with her over 500 Pokemon that she has EV trained into a mighty army. Team Zutara forever.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Who let this person out of their pen?
Yeah, who let her out of her 14-year-old bedroom? Like legit. That's a 14-year-old. That's a 14-year-old child.
This is who writes for the Mary Sue.
Folks, all I have to say to this is one thing only, and that is this
is coming from somebody who has this. So.
All right.
I mean, I guess that's from my childhood, but I don't have like.
That is fucking amazing, though. That is.
Thank you so much, Robert Pearson.
It's custom made. Is he in the chat? He was in the chat earlier.
In the chat earlier, yeah, and he said he might, if you behave, Tom, he might have something for you.
I love that though. That's awesome.
Do I get anything?
I don't know. What do you want?
What about me?
No, I'm not gonna pay. I'm not gonna ask.
He sent me a picture of he's making a man cave of like the Indiana Jones the Temple of Doom thing. So yeah.
Oh, the Kali.
I'm a big Indiana Jones fan.
Or not Temple of Doom. Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's the idol. I think he had.
Oh yeah.
Let me show it. And he also made a giant life-size R2D2 that works.
Oh,
here, let me screen share this.
You guys been on the news before? Because I remember seeing something about.
He's in the UK.
I was gonna say. Well, I thought
that's awesome.
Isn't that cool? That's in his man cave.
I say Rob's a big indie fan. Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, he's still here, just about.
The
I
bag
know
of
it's
sand.
late. It's late over there in the UK. Sorry, I'm showing this.
The bag of sand is great.
Now, Robert, were you the one that was on the news back, like I think when either the last or Force Awakens came out, where they had a guy who made his own R2D2? Was that you?
Well, anyway,
While we're waiting for him to answer, because
Yeah.
there's a delay, I'll handle this super chat real quick. Dark Saber Force, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I wish Ingrid Balso Berdal from Cold Prey and Armistice from Westworld was Valkyrie or female Thor. Meh. I get what you're saying there. I don't mind Tessa Thompson, but she's another one of those who needs to learn to keep her mouth shut. Like
I liked her until she started talking. Yeah, she was.
Yeah, until she winds up in that point where it's like, you know what, just shut your mouth. No, go do acting, and yeah. Oh, he's pretty okay. Okay. I just remember seeing a story back when it was like, oh, that was really neat, and that's cool because yeah.
Should we? I have an idea. I just have an idea. Should we have the franchise Deadpool? I mean, as to which
literal Deadpool, not the character, like a Deadpool, where you like sit there and you have a list of where you
die first.
Yeah, of which franchise is going to die first? Yeah, you know what I mean. And we all kind of put I don't know. Well, it's like a symbolic kind of bet, you know, like $1 each or whatever.
Right. And he wants us to Google Ingrid, so I bet you Rob's going to go giggity here. Watch.
Ingrid. There's lots of Ingrids though.
Ingrid Basel.
But I mean, we should have some kind of franchise like Deathpool or Dead Watch or whatever, Death Watch, that, you know,
it's gonna die first.
What's gonna be the next franchise to tank?
Thor.
Yeah,
I think that's a safe bet.
Like somebody gets Thor, somebody gets what else? What's another one that's going woke? Like Watchmen. Watchmen they kind of have to keep making, but they're going full on woke with Watchmen.
Oh, there was a video about that.
Gary, yeah.
Or an article, rather. I mean, like, I don't know that much about Watchmen, so I passed on it. It was a Bounding Into Comics article about it.
I have the director's cut of Watchmen. I've never sat down and viewed it.
It's all right. I still say if you watch that movie in like twice speed during the slow-mo scenes, it wouldn't be as long.
Oh, before we go, there is an outtake of from the Orville.
Oh yes,
that hit the net.
That was great.
Tom, if you go to Tom Cosentino's Twitter, he has.
There's that actress he's talking about.
Let me see. Oh, hello, nurse. No bra.
One where she's not wearing a bra either.
Yeah, where's my Quagmire sound? Damn it!
And she? Tell me, Saber. Is she Norwegian? Is she Dutch? She's got a weird name.
Ingrid. That's usually Scandic.
Well, yeah, some Scandinavian country, but the O has the slash through it in her actual name and stuff like that.
It's probably Norwegian.
Berdell is her last name. Yeah, let's see where's she from.
Ingrid Bolso.
Yeah, we got to have Andre say that name. He would say
it is pronounced Ingrid Bolso. Ingrid Bolso.
Norwegian. I was right.
Yeah, represent.
Andre would like that.
Represent.
Watch me ask him. He'd be like, actually, nobody here likes her.
Okay, yeah. So
I'm sure I'm kidding, but
okay. Well, we have to get over the shenanigans, but go check out
time here.
Yeah, but go check out the deleted scene over on Tom Cosentino's Twitter handle. Lamar, Isaac, and Scott Grimes and Malloy are playing golf. it's pretty good. But if you're just hopefully it'll hold you over for some more Orville.
Yeah, Lord knows it's gonna be a while.
Ka-ching! What do we got for super chat?
Tim Riggs again.
Tim Riggs come through like a boss. What do we got? I don't have.
How many MCU movies before they start losing money? I heard somebody call it the MCU earlier. Oh yeah, you did. Robert Pearson says, she going to be the new Captain Marvel, please? Yeah, she would have been a great Captain Marvel. What the fuck?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and if you guys do want more Orville, Rob shot me the other day in the Orville.
These guys, I tell you.
You know what? Maybe we should play Orville and do a capture of it.
Yeah,
Just
we could
us.
do that.
Yeah, one of these days here.
With, yeah, we could do that. Or not on
a few minutes to go, Jaloja. Speaking of Orville, for shenanigans.
Yeah. So let's wrap here. Yeah, we got other stories, but we can those will wait because nobody really gives a shit about Watchmen right now.
No.
Yeah. All right. If you like what we do, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, like, subscribe, make sure hit the bell icon over there. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're already subscribed, make sure the bell icon is already rung. If you're already rung it, head over to Patreon. Head over to Patreon. Bloopers, outtakes, lost episodes, behind the edge making videos, my 10-minute stand-up set, and more. If you don't like Patreon, we have Subscribestar and we have PayPal if you want to support the show directly. Tom, the GoFundMe is still up?
It is. It is indeed. If you'd like to help us out, please run over there and do that. I'll try and get the link up here in the description.
This is it, people. This is it.
Yeah, we're running out of time.
Tuesday.
Yep.
Tom and I'll be up on Tuesday.
Mecca, tell them about your channel.
I'm Mecca Random 42. Subscribe to me. I rant about a lot of things. And I'm sexy.
You totes adorbs by doing it. As the kids would say.
Too sexy for
supposed to say yes.
Yes, you are.
YouTube's gonna leave me.
Okay, and if go check out YouTube's gonna ban me.
They'll probably ban me. Yeah, I'll probably get banned before.
Okay.
I'll wait while I'm on the plane.
I'm too sexy for my key.
Head on over to head on over to Mary's house. Head on over to Mary Mayhem's channel for shenanigans. It's going to start in a couple of minutes. Go check out our friends, Professor Geek, Overlord DVD, Gary over Doomercock, the Burn Network. I said it this time. Fan Man, a lot of people, Clownfish TV, SC Reviews, the blah, 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 blah. Comic Artist Pro Secrets, Comics Matter with your boy Zach.
I'm sure there's some random channel out there where you could learn how to cook some kick-ass Chinese food. Go find it.
That umbrella guy.
That umbrella guy, yes. Yellow Flash.
A lot of Chinese food?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Captain Robert April, yeah, check out his channel.
Just did a new video today, too, about action figures. Go subscribe.
That's right. Mm-hmm. All right,
we're going to do something with him soon, so maybe tonight or tomorrow. Well, not tonight, obviously. It's too late now. Probably tomorrow. TJR Music. He's actually he's a little up-and-coming channel. He's done a lot of stuff for movies and music, actually, but he's done a few stories about the UMG fire, so we're going to talk a little bit about that.
All right, everybody. Yeah, I could talk music all day. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for joining us. We're going to check out in a few minutes over shenanigans. We will catch you next time.
I can't even get through that thought. I am hung to the over.
Don't worry. I'm not going to steal your purse, honey. It doesn't match my shoe.
I've got what they call gaydar.
I like big Asian butts, and I cannot lie.